Heyo, beautiful humans, welcome back to another video. What I wanted to ask of you guys, not of you like adds in a request, but to query of you, is this. Do y'all, who are other artists out there, do you run up against this? This is what I want to know, and I'm so curious and also amused in the asking of this question. So here's the experience. And again, share if you want to in the comments, or give the video a thumbs up so that I know that you at least found it amusing or whatever, or enlightening in some way. So tell me if you've experienced this. When you sit down to, let's just use my example, let's say you sit down to paint or draw or create, whatever your medium is, right? Do you feel this pressure that I sometimes have talked about feeling, where it's almost like a resistance to actually wanting to paint the thing that you enjoy? You almost feel resistance to it because of what you think it should be. Essentially almost a preconceived notion that, well, because you're painting and because it's art, it has to be. Do any of these phrases sound familiar? And I'm genuinely curious because in my life lately, I've noticed this funny pattern cropping up, and I wonder if it's something that applies in other areas of my life as well. At any rate, at least when it comes to painting, which you guys know I have a genuine, enthusiastic passion for in my life. I've noticed this funny thing where sometimes, thankfully not all the time, sometimes though, I will sit down and I'll feel so much pressure for that creation to be, I guess exactly that, a creation. And you know, it feels like I'm over there making Frankenstein's something. And lately I've realized how kind of comedic that is because we're artists, for goodness sake, right? Those of us who are artists. And I believe at least, we're here to create whatever. And how on earth are we going to create if we're judging what we're creating? So what I find, and this is the funny part of it that I actually really love about this resistance, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I feel like I never thought those words would come out of my mouth. Genuinely, what I love about that resistance is this. And again, please do share if you've had this experience as well, because I'm so curious if I'm alone or this is a shared artist experience. I just want to know that for myself. So tell me if you've experienced this too. Again, you sit down to do a painting, you maybe are feeling that resistance. Like for whatever reason, that day you have imposter syndrome and you're like, man, like I am not Picasso, I'm not Van Gogh, I'm just not feeling this today. I don't want to pull this creation out of my bum, and you get that sense of like, oh, maybe I should just put the paints away. And then you have that magic moment where you're like, and this is, I guess, that golden moment they talk about, like pushing through that resistance or whatever that I've heard people speak about, where you decide, you know what? Screw that rebel girl or guy comes out of you, that rebel person, that rebel part of you comes out. And you go, screw that. I'm just gonna do it. Now this is the part where I want to know if I'm alone. Do you then find that in those creations, what I mean by that is in the literal process of creating that piece of art, do you feel super relaxed and free? And is that not a time that you enjoy so much? Because for me, oh my goodness. Like I said, this is why this weird resistance thing has almost become a friend of mine. Because the times I've noticed, in particular lately for some reason, when I sit down to paint, if I notice that imposter syndrome of an artist thing trying to stop me essentially, and arising and being like, oh, maybe I just shouldn't paint today. You love the voice that comes with it too, don't you? Oh, the wheeze. Anyway. And if you make it through that moment, like if you prevail through the mud and you made it to the other side of the test, and I don't know why I'm turning Texan and like Southern and military now, but we're all here down in the mud crawling through it. But if you make it through that moment of like, oh, I don't want to, it has to be this thing, it has to be that thing. I love my whole facial expressions, I'm sensing this. If and when you make it through that moment, I have the most blissful sessions of painting. I'll give you an example of this, if this isn't something you relate with. I guess it was yesterday, maybe the day before, I genuinely sat down to paint and I was feeling this like, ugh, it has to be something feeling. And then thankfully, shortly after, resigned myself to, you know what, no, my desire to paint is greater than my desire to be Picasso right now, or to be Van Gogh, or to be any of these artists. I don't know why those are the only two names coming to my brain. I do know the names of other artists. So at any rate, they're just some of my favorite ones. Salvador Dali is actually another one. Anyway, that is a artist conversation for another day. Again, when I push through those moments and then I go ahead and I allow myself to essentially like free paint, I give myself the permission slip to go ahead and paint whatever without any judgment frames. Like literally just paint whatever. In fact, I've stopped recently, and this is something that I also love. I've gotten into allowing myself to like make art, to freely make art. Like it doesn't even have to, for me, I'm telling myself, be limited to paints. You know, for example, if I'm painting and I want my painting to turn into something that has other pieces, I don't know, glued to it, for example, or if I want to add glitter or glittered paint or marker, whatever, right? When I tell you that those sessions where I decide to just let my creation become whatever, and I decide to allow it to be fine, that whatever I produce is whatever it is that it is, because I can't remember where I heard it, and gosh, I wish I did, because I wrote it down on a little Post-it and I've had it ever since. And it says creation isn't meant to be altered, meaning essentially that creation is absolutely perfect in everything that it is, meaning that whatever it is, whether that's a person, place, or thing, it is perfect exactly the way that it is right now. And I know that that's like, oh, that's such a cheeky spiritual tie-in. That's sincerely been the process of my mind regarding painting lately. And I share it because it has had such a genuinely profound effect on the level of joy and peace. And this is the really crazy part, a sense of freedom that I haven't experienced in very many facets of my life. The only time I would say I've felt things equivalent to this sense of peace, is in the past when I was horseback riding, because that is a place I find very zen when, for whatever reason, riding horses is very zen for me. Other than that, honestly, I've not found that kind of peace in anything else other than yoga. And so when I developed this, or found this love for, or passion for painting, it's amazing how on those days when I have that resistance and that feeling of like, oh my God, I'm such an imposter, how dare I paint? How dare I pick up a paintbrush? Who am I? We love the judgmental part of her, don't we? I need to give her a name. At any rate, when you hear that, whatever your version of that is, it's fun to kind of dance with that and go, you know what? Let's just let the creation be whatever it wants to be. And I tell you now, I have the most wonderful, freeing sense, not freeing sense, I had many things going on at the same time in my brain there. You have this wonderful sense of freedom and peace, or I get that when I'm creating. So please, for real, if you're an artist and you've experienced this, share down in the comments if I'm a weirdo in that sense, or if that's an artist's experience, because wow, it is something that I will acknowledge as a challenge in the fact that you have to push through that, you get to offered to push through that resistance. And also, when and if you do push through that resistance, at least in my experience, you can have some of the most wonderful, wonderful sessions. And again, I almost feel like a hypocrite saying that, because someone that I know, a coach, friend, mentor of mine, Matt, recently said he had I think he was talking about a gym session in his case. He had a breakthrough workout session. And it was one of those things where he didn't want to go. And then because he went, he had this incredible session. And at the time I was kind of listening to him. I was like, I can't really relate with you, but okay, cool. And now I'm like, oh, because I fully understand at least I think, what he was conveying, what that feels like now with the painting. Because when I sit down and I'm like, ooh, gotta be Picasso today. Let me get out my mustache. I must ask you not to take your judgments to this video. So if you've had this experience as an artist where you have amazingly peaceful and joyful sessions immediately following a little bit of resistance of like, oh, I don't want to do this, or for some reason, even though legitimately it's something that you love, I would so love to hear that that's a shared experience. And other than that, if you know anyone this video would help, please absolutely do share it with them. I would love for that message to get out there, especially to other artists, also so that I can hear whether this is a shared experience or not. Subscribe, as that really helps me out as a content creator to get the message out there to those folks who need to hear it. And last but not least, if you, my beautiful soul, need any support or coaching, please don't hesitate to reach out at this email address, where it would be my pleasure to help you and serve you in whatever way that I can. Have a beautiful and a blessed rest of your day or night whenever you're seeing this, and I will see you, gorgeous cats, in the next video. Namaste and much love. Stay healthy. Bye. but ooh, my hair, or give the thumbs, that magic moment. You love the voice that comes with it too, don't you? And what else do I say here?